The NCAA tournament was one of the best of all time, but it's over now, sadly. And the top players will be taking their talents to the NBA. Who will be the best at the next level? The Chase Utley slide rule has already caused controversy in the MLB this season. Does it need to be amended? And the Golden State Warriors are trying to chase 73 wins and a title, but can they do it? We're debating that and more right here on the championship episode of Unsportsmanlike Conduct. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the championship finale episode of Unsportsmanlike Conduct. I'm your host, Malcolm Kellner. We have a great matchup for you today. The two best teams of the season, the Purple Panthers and Green Liners, are here, and only one will be crowned a champion. Tim Manella is here for the Purple Panthers. Tim, can you handle the pressure of the championship today?
I think I can. I'm going to do my best.
Okay, up against Tim is Max DeLuca of the Green Liners. Max, are you ready for today?
I am ready for today. I just want to throw out there that I am representing Emerson College men's soccer. Go Lions, baby. So.
Okay,
ready.
Great shout out for Max. Good job, Tim, of course, representing the baseball team. So we got a couple athletes here. But let's get right to it. As the censored version of the Black Eyed Peas hit would say, let's get it started. So question number one. We're talking college basketball, so I will ask you this. Ben Simmons has been widely regarded as the most athletic player in college, while Michigan State's Denzel Valentine took home the Player of the Year award. But in your opinion, gentlemen, who was the best player in the NCAA this season? Tim Manella.
Well, I'm going to go off the board here and say North Carolina's Bryce Johnson. He averaged 17 points and 10 rebounds this year, while being the second or third option in a system designed around guards like Marcus Page and Joel Berry. Additionally, what you look for in your best players is to shine when the stage is brightest. And he did that, scoring 29 points and gathering 19 rebounds against Duke the first time and scoring 18 and 21 boards the second time.
Okay, so Tim with a little underdog pick here, saying Bryce Johnson. Max, who's your pick?
For me, it had to be Buddy Hield. He averaged 20 points a game consistently throughout the season. He came up to play in every big game he had to play, despite the last game. But he did carry that Oklahoma team on his shoulders throughout the season. He was the best player on the team. He was the best player in the country. And for me, it just had to be Buddy Hield.
Okay, Tim, why Bryce over Buddy?
Well, to me, it just comes down to what they both did against Villanova. I mean, it's pretty simple. Buddy Hield got basically demolished. I mean, he scored single-digit points after averaging 25 a game all year, and Bryce Johnson's team lost on quite possibly the best shot in college basketball history.
There were numerous games throughout the season where Bryce Johnson did not show up to play, especially against Boston College, the worst team in the ACC, who did not win a game.
That's a meaningless
Bryce
game.
Johnson did hardly even play because he was playing poorly in the first half of the game. He didn't show up in the second half. Coach Roy Williams didn't play him. That was also a game where Roy Williams had the vertigo attack. But besides that, Bryce Johnson did not play well in that game. There's numerous other games where he did not show up this season. Buddy Hield was there every game of the season, whether it was scoring points
Except
or whether
for the
he was
Final
working
Four.
hard. He was working hard every single game.
I want to talk some hard facts here. Let's talk some stats. I know Bryce Johnson obviously didn't have the points that Buddy Hield does, but why do the other intangibles make up for that, Tim?
Well, first of all, Bryce Johnson's a power forward, and it's a lot harder for a power forward to go out and seek his shots than it is for a point guard like Buddy Hield. Buddy Hield had the ball all of the time. He was the focal point of the Oklahoma attack. And yes, he's a very skilled player and a good shooter, but Bryce Johnson was only fed touches off of offensive boards and lobs and plays like that and post-ups one-on-one a few times a game.
Last word, Max.
That's the way North Carolina's offense is designed. They ran throughout different players on the team. Oklahoma's ran through Buddy, which means he's obviously going to score more points. He was the better player of the season. He carried that team.
Right.
Bryce Johnson had a team surrounding him, which allowed him to take more of the pressure off of his shoulders. Buddy Hield did it solely in and out every game.
What I'm saying is that if Bryce Johnson was the focal point of an attack like Buddy Hield was, he would have stats just as good.
Yeah, but he wasn't the focal point.
Okay, so I'm going to have to wrap things up here. Tim going with a very underdog argument with Bryce Johnson, but as he said, it was based on potential. He could have been a great player if he was the focal player. He was focal point of the offense. He was a great player, but Buddy Hield, just you cannot count out those stats, just a better player year-round. So Buddy Hield, Max DeLuca, Green Liners get point number one. So question number two. So with Ben Simmons, Kentucky's Tyler Ellis, and more people declaring for this year's NBA draft, I want you to both gaze into your crystal balls and tell me what player entering the draft lottery will have the most successful rookie season in the league. Max, you're up first.
Well, for me, it has to be Ben Simmons. If you've watched him play at all, he was unbelievable. Despite all the classroom stuff, yeah, he didn't go to class, but I think it was pretty clear that he was only there at LSU to play basketball. So take away all that stuff. This man wants to play basketball. That is apparent. He's unbelievably athletic. He was compared to LeBron James. He has so many upsides for the NBA. He's got to be the best player in the lottery.
So Max saying Ben Simmons wasn't there to play school. He was there to play ball. Tim, why someone other than Ben Simmons?
Well, Ben Simmons would be a good pick 20 years ago. The NBA now is about shooting, and Ben Simmons simply cannot shoot. That's why I'm going with Brandon Ingram, who can shoot. People are comparing him to a skinnier Kevin Durant. I see almost like a more fun version to play with of Carmelo Anthony, a guy that can score from all over the floor, be your number one option, and not kill you on defense.
Brandon Ingram does not have the aggressiveness to be one of the better players in the NBA, and I'll tell you why. This man was only averaging 12 points a game, whereas Ben Simmons was averaging 20 and 8, I believe. Ben Simmons goes out there every night. He demands the basketball, and that could be because he was on LSU where no one else on the team was really good, but this man, he was unbelievable all season, unbelievably athletic. He's ready for the NBA. He's just compared to LeBron James.
Okay, well, first of all, you're wrong about the points per game. Ingram averaged at least 16. And second of all, he had to share the ball with guys like Grayson Allen and the third Plumlee brother. I don't even know his name. But
too many to keep track of.
The point is, Ingram is nearly just as athletic and probably a better defender right now, light years ahead in shooting. Not quite the passer,
Ingram
but
has no muscle on his body at all.
That's a lot easier to change than a broken
muscle.
jump shot.
Yeah, but in the NBA, when he has to go up against LeBron James, how's he going to do?
How's Ben Simmons going to do when he can't
Ben Simmons is
shoot?
strong. Ben Simmons is strong. He can get to the hole at will.
Okay, last point, Tim Manila.
Simply, the NBA right now, more so than it ever has been, is about shooting. You see what the Warriors do. You see what teams even like the Celtics or the Spurs do. The NBA right now is about shooting. Ben Simmons cannot shoot.
The NBA may be about shooting right now, but ultimately it's still a big man's game. It will always be a big man's game, and Ben Simmons has the ability to play the big man's game. So Ben Simmons is my pick.
Now, actual last word, back to you. Bring it home.
Again, Brandon Ingram shot over 40% from three this year, will likely do so at the NBA, can score from mid-range, can get to the rim, can even play some small ball 4 and post up on some smaller defenders.
All right, I'm going to have to
versatile offensive weapon.
I'm going to have to wrap things up here. Both players you mentioned will probably be picks 1 and 2. Both players have deficiencies that will need to get resolved at the next level. Brandon Ingram is a little skinnier than you'd like. Ben Simmons doesn't shoot the ball well, but Tim Manella brought it home when he said it's easier to put on weight than it is to develop a jump shot. Both could be done, but Ingram has the better road to success in the NBA. Purple Panthers get the point to tie up the game. So that's going to do it for round number 1 with the score 2-2. But the lightning round is coming up, and we're talking baseball on the UC. Don't go anywhere. Actually, I'd understand if you don't want to watch these stupid Emerson Channel promos, but after they're done, change the channel back to this, okay? Hey, don't give me that look. Fine, just do whatever you want, okay?
Okay, this is not working out.
This hasn't been working out for us. Can we please go back to the shows that we're meant to host?
Yes. Thank you.
Welcome back to the UC Arena. The score is currently all tied up at 2-2, but that's all going to change after the lightning round. Joining us to talk some baseball is Pablo Feldman from the Purple Panthers and John Newton from the Green Liners. So, Pablo, I know you know a few things about baseball. You're a baseball player. Can you talk baseball today?
Oh, I can talk baseball. We're ready to go. We got a big championship round here. Let's bring on the pressure, baby.
John Newton, can you match up this guy here?
Absolutely. I'm more of a closer myself, so this is a championship round. Guess
Okay.
It's my time to shine.
John coming out with the laptop, which we had only seen on the show from Pablo before.
Taking my
Very
move.
controversial, but he stole his move, but
Yeah.
we're going to let him slide with it. So question number 1. After the Toronto Blue Jays game ended with a controversial call thanks to the MLB's new Chase Utley slide rule, do you agree with the new sliding rule as a way to protect the fielders, or do you think it takes away from the game? Pablo, you first.
You know what? I don't agree with this new rule. I think baseball is a game where it's a game of the past. It's a game of history. You can't have players being nervous about all these plays, and it's holding up the game, quite frankly. You know what? It's a game where you make a dirty slide and you get hit on the next pitch when you're hitting next. That's the game of baseball. It's not a game of instant replay like football. And you know what? It's making controversial calls. This is a play where it's tough to determine, honestly. There's not one specific thing that you can see and be like, this is a dirty slide. It's a tough play to determine, and it's a part of the game taking out the shortstop.
John Newton, why is it a good thing?
Because fewer injuries equals happier fans and a better baseball game overall. This rule change also comes with a change to the neighborhood play and requires infielders to actually touch second base with ball in hand when trying to turn 2. But this will not lead to more infielders being injured because this rule also prevents overslides. And if a base runner overslides, both he and the batter will be called out, and these kind of runners will not be wanting to take the risk, already guaranteeing a double play.
All right, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to cut you off there. Sorry to cut you a little short there, John, but I'm going to have to give the point to Pablo Feldman. He's right. It slows down the game. It's causing a lot of confusion, controversy. Baseball is turning into football now with all these replays. There's the slide rules before were good enough. So Pablo and the Panthers take the first points. Question number 2. Do the Boston Red Sox have a rotation problem after David Price? We've seen that could be happening so far. John Newton, is this something to be worried about?
I don't think it is. David Price is always an all-star contention. This season will be no different. But beyond him, Boston has Clay Buchholz, Eduardo Rodriguez, and Ronis Elias, all of which had whips under 1.3. Now, walks and hits or any pitch are a great representation of not only the base runners you're going to have on the diamond, but anything below 1.5 represents a rarity for pitchers to face multiple base runners in an inning. And if you have less than 2 base runners in an inning, you're not going to have as many runners in scoring position. And if you don't have that RISP as a pitcher, that screams money, that screams W's, that screams playoffs.
Pablo, why not?
I'm not hearing any real stats thrown out here, just throwing out what these numbers means. First of all, Joe Kelly, trash year last year, honestly. Terrible year. I mean, he's in the rotation. What is he, the 3rd or 4th starter for the Boston Red Sox?
He had 120 strikeouts.
No rebuttal during the lightning round. Quick,
Can I finish? Can I
Yes,
finish?
go ahead, quick.
I'm just saying, David Price holds up the rotation, and who knows, even if David Price is going to have a big year, and the rest of their rotation, as we saw last year, by specific stats, cannot hold up behind David Price. And we saw that, and there's no debating that.
All right, well, that's going to do it for question number 2. John bringing in the whip stat, which is interesting, but we saw last year the Red Sox rotation was so bad, and they didn't change it at all, besides getting David Price. So Pablo, again, gets the point for the Purple Panthers. So question number 3. After seeing Trevor Story homer in each of his first MLB games, upon Jose Reyes' return, who plays shortstop for the Rockies? Or is it too early to tell? Pablo, you answer first.
Jose Reyes plays shortstop when he comes back. Jose Reyes is a proven veteran. Jose Reyes has been and is one of the best shortstops in the game of baseball. You can't give a rookie who goes on a little hot streak of 4 home runs, you can't make him the starting shortstop. When you have a guy like Jose Reyes, a veteran in the clubhouse, a veteran on the field, a proven shortstop, you don't just do that and replace a man like that.
John, why should Story start, and why is his start legit?
Because he's making the most of an opportunity given to him at the highest pressure. The major leagues is something brand new to him, only 16 at-bats, but a quarter of those at-bats are dingers. And when you have 7 RBIs for 16 at-bats, you're not going to get that kind of output from an all-star in a video game. Story is 4/10 better than Reyes' average was last season, and wouldn't you rather have a player that you know is healthy rather than a player coming off from an injury?
Newton, hold yourself. It's four games.
All
buddy.
right, going to have to wrap things up here. Personally, I think that Story would be the better choice, but Jose Reyes, Pablo just making the better points in this one. He is proven. He hasn't been as good in the past couple years. He's falling off, but not enough points made on the other side. So Purple Panthers take the point. So question number 4. The Dodgers outscored the Padres 25-0 in their first 3 games. Are the Dodgers that good, or are the Padres that bad? John, you first.
Padres are very poor this season so far. 11 hits through 3 games, 3 shutout losses, an embarrassment to San Diego and the state of California for that matter. And the Dodgers were doubled up 12-6 by the Giants. This amazing team might win 110 games, but the Padres bullpen is horrendous. 9 runs given up in their last 3 defensive innings, and John Jay is the only Padre with more than 1 hit through 4 at-bats.
Okay, so John's saying the Padres have just been bad. Pablo, why have the Dodgers been that good?
The Dodgers, honestly, they're an absolutely dominant team. You look at a rotation led by Clayton Kershaw, and honestly, that's a shutdown team. The Dodgers, the Padres, first of all, have a pretty stacked team. So you can't say the Padres are not good. The Dodgers, with Adrian Gonzalez in the middle of their lineup, you know what? The Dodgers are that good, and you know what? That's just a fact.
Gonna have to wrap things up. I do think the Dodgers are very good, and I do think the Padres are very bad, but John had the better stats at this point. Only 1 player with more than 1 hit. They've been so bad. Pablo said the Padres are stacked. Not so sure about that anymore. So John Newton and the Green Liners get the point. So last question. After a good start to the season, are the 2016 Mariners destined for success? Pablo, you first.
Been saying this for years. It's only time until the Mariners come around and are destined for success. You know what? A great start. I love Robbie Cano, and I can't say enough about that. He's a big leader on that team with King Felix in there. The Mariners, you know what? They've been waiting. They've been rebuilding for this year, and this is year to year, and they're showing it. They've shown it in spring training with an amazing spring training, and so far in the beginning of this year, that the Mariners are a team that is going to be a force in the American League and has a true chance to win the World Series this
John,
year.
why not?
Now, this is a guy who just told me that story was not a true underdog story because it's too small of a sample size. This is too small of a sample size. Their bats are going cold after the first few innings. Opening game, no runs after the second. No runs after the second inning. 85% of their runs come in the first 3 innings. After that, what is this afterwards? It's an absolute collapse. The pitching going down the drain as well. Starts to get cold too. Didn't give up a run until the 5th inning and collapsed to lose that first game as well. I want to see consistency, and we don't have a big enough sample size like with Story. It's way too soon to tell if the Mariners are going to be roaring this season. 2 out of 3,
Okay, I'm going to have to wrap things up
Can
here.
we get a fact check on those stats? I just don't believe that. That's true that they scored 85% of their runs before the second inning.
I don't know about
That's not what I said. That's
possible.
not what I said.
But I do know.
That's not what I said.
I do know that he is right. They've won 2 out of 3
That's
games, and I
ridiculous.
do know that is a very small sample size. I'm going to have to give the point to John Newton here. It's too early
Fact
to tell
check here.
if the Mariners are going to be that great. They could be good, but after 3 games, who really knows? So it's been another great lightning round with Pablo and the Purple Panthers winning 3-2, coming out on top. But this thing is far from over. Our NBA final round is next with the match on the line and the season on the line. Don't go anywhere. As always, I will know if you do. Welcome back, everybody, for one very last time to the UC Coliseum. So after a tightly contested first couple rounds, the Purple Panthers are up in a nail-biter 5-4. But we're heading into the final round, and everything can change here. So I've now the pleasure of being joined by Joe Jacobs, otherwise known as Slappy Joe, Joey Swipes, Joey Buckets, you name it, Joey Overachiever. Joe, you ready to bring it home for the Purple Panthers
This is
today?
really sad today, Malk, because this is your final UC round of your career.
It is sad.
You've been doing this for 4 years, Malcolm.
I know.
4 long years in this UC dojo, and this is your last one, and I get to be a part of it. I'm really happy about that.
It seems like he's trying
Warms
to
my heart.
butter me up a little bit. I don't know, but how about you, man? You ready? You ready today?
Hey, I'm ready for the game.
Okay.
Great to be back.
Okay, good
He
stuff.
doesn't care that it's your last round. He has no care about that. Just
Okay.
remember that.
Okay, I'm gonna try to ignore that fact. But question number one, with general manager Sam Hinkie's resignation, the Philadelphia 76ers' 4-year tanking plan is no longer. Trust the process no more. As Hinkie tried to bring wins to the city of brotherly love, well, by losing. What do the 76ers have to do now and in the future, excuse me, to get back to relevance in the NBA? Let's see. You get to go first.
It is clear that the Philadelphia 76ers organization is in shambles, and the only way that we can rebuild this team is through the draft. Nobody in the NBA wants to go to Philadelphia. That is clear. They have tried to do this for the past few seasons. They brought in Doug Collins to bring in more players. Nothing happens. The only way to do that is through the draft.
Okay, so why, Joe, why not the draft? Why free agency? Or
Who
other
said I
means?
was talking about free
Trades?
agency, Malcolm? See,
Trades?
the Joey Jacobs way of doing things is to let the Sioux Falls D-League team come to the NBA. See, the Philadelphia 76ers are so bad. I mean, they've had, 20 wins in the last 2 years, 30 in the last 3? They're horrible. They just need to decide, you know what? We're not good enough to play in the NBA when we get the same amount of wins as the Warriors get losses. So we're going to let the Sioux Falls D-League team, who's 40-10 right now, Malcolm, 40 and freaking 10. We're going to play a best-of-7 series after the Warriors win the finals, and then whoever wins gets to take that Philadelphia 76ers part in the Atlantic
Okay,
Conference.
so Joe Jacobs with possibly the biggest Hail Mary answer I've ever seen on the history
It's
of my
true,
4
though.
years
You
on the
can't
show.
argue that the
is- Okay,
well,
Philadelphia
let
76ers,
let him
who
argue
have
against that.
no talent on the team,
Why
you
is that-
can't even.
why
Joe
is that a
Jacobs, this is
good
a
idea?
ludicrous statement. The only thing that is more in shambles than the Philadelphia 76ers is the NBA's development league. You got a league that has Baron Davis trying to make a comeback. Are you kidding me, man? This is ridiculous. The Philadelphia 76ers are historically bad, but they do not rank between the likes of the 09-10 New Jersey Nets with Gian Leon. No, I think that'll take the cake as one of the worst teams of all time. And yes, it is bad that the team with the most losses all time is a 76ers team, but that's in the 70s. I gotta say, the only way that they can do this is through the draft. Philadelphia fans love their basketball, but nobody else wants to play.
So you're
Okay,
just going
try
to
to sell
keep
this
drafting players. You're just going to
Gotta
keep
keep drafting. They
drafting
got
players
4
who are just going to
first-round
keep
draft picks
getting
this
injured.
Joe,
year.
think about it.
Nerlens Noel, Jahlil Okafor. Look who they've drafted, and it's just been nobody.
So
and
you're
they've just continued to lose year after year. So just let the Sioux Falls team have their
You've got
moment.
one of the most
Let
historical
them have their
franchises,
moment.
Joe, of the NBA, the Sixers,
But the
and
last
you're going
5
to
years,
contract
have they
them
done anything?
and promote the Sioux Falls
Do they have
Defenders. I
anybody
think it
on
is?
their team that you would want on your Minnesota Timberwolves, Malcolm?
Ish
I'd
Smith.
take Noel.
The
I'd take
injured
Okafor.
Noel? And the Okafor who's fought
Name
two
one
guys
pla-
in Boston?
Can you name
We
any
got-
players on the Sioux Falls Defenders? I'm sorry, I'm kind of joining
It's
the
the
argument
Sioux
here.
Falls Defenders?
I think so.
That's their logo?
Okay, I'm going to have to wrap things up
That's
here.
cool. Good to know. I don't think it's the Defenders.
Okay, I
Definitely
apologize
not
for
the
taking the
Defenders.
side a little early. Joe
Yeah,
Jacobs,
you
like I
took
said,
a side too quick.
huge Hail Mary, but I was trying to give you a chance to
You didn't
argue
give me
that
a
point.
chance.
And
No
I
chance.
I did give you a chance, and you couldn't name a single player on the Sioux Falls Defenders. So
It's
I
not
think,
the Defenders.
What is it?
I couldn't tell you.
Okay, so I think the 76ers building through the draft is a more sensible solution than contracting them and raising the Sioux Falls team to the NBA. So, Green Liners,
Sioux
you get the
Falls
point.
till I die.
Yeah, okay. The Golden State Warriors have to win out the rest of their games in order for them to reach 73 wins. Good for the best regular season record in NBA history, beating the Bulls by 1 game if they win out. So, Joe Jacobs, how important is it that the Warriors get to 73?
You know, I talked to Steph Curry in the elevator 2 months ago when the team came to practice in Emerson College, and I asked him, Steph, what is the most important thing for you to do this season? And he said, it's to be the best team ever. The Warriors want to be the best team ever in history. They want to be the team that people remember, not the 95-96 Bulls, because Steph Curry, he wants eventually to be the best player ever, beat Michael Jordan. So what would be better than to just have the best record ever? And that's what they've been chasing for the whole time. They didn't really tell anybody till about 2 weeks ago that they really wanted that 73, but they're fighting for it. And they showed up last night against the Spurs, and they got the dub.
Okay, so why are the 73 wins not as important as Joe is saying?
Listen, I feel like the 73 wins
Did
has
you
been
talk to
in the
Steph
back
in the
of
elevator?
I actually walked Steph Curry out of this building, and I looked at him and I said, Steph, you are the father of my children. What is your game plan? And he goes, listen, in the back of everyone's mind.
Can I get a
in the
fact
back
check?
of everyone's mind, 73 wins is in fact a big thing. But their coach, the man who is leading this team, was a player on that record-setting team. You got a man who I am sure is saying, listen, guys, we cannot have this be the focal
No, you
point
know
of
what
our
he's saying?
season.
He's
Steve
saying,
Kerr,
I want to
there's
be.
no way
He's
Steve
saying,
Kerr is
I
saying
want to be the
that
most winning player. I want to have the team that's
no
won
way.
the most
No
as a
way.
player, as
No
a shooter.
way.
Steve Kerr.
Steve
Ooh.
Kerr is
and then,
telling his
and then,
team that
as a
they
coach
do
with
not
the
wanna
whistle,
win this
I want to
league.
be the best ever. He wants to be
They
the
wanna
best
be the
ever
best this
as
season.
a player and a coach, and then win 2 back-to-back championships all in one. The Warriors, they
You
want
could
to
see
be the
it.
best.
You could see it
Plain and
last night
simple.
when he was playing his friends Tim
Plain and
Duncan
simple.
and Greg Popovich. Steve Kerr won a championship with these guys. You could see he was beating them, and it was great. But he does not want to break his own record that
What
he.
would not winning 73 games, it just brings momentum into the finals and to the playoffs. They know that they've had the best regular season ever. And how is any team, after coming off 73 freaking wins, are they going to stop any team when they've had 12 losses in one season?
It's going to be a tough job, but it's going to be broken on Sunday when they lose to the Spurs. And I will tell you it will happen. And it is not a main factor in the minds of all. It's
right.
definitely,
I just don't
definitely
buy it.
something.
I just don't buy it.
I'm going to have to wrap things up here. I respect that both of you had conversations with Stephen Curry when he came to Emerson.
Yeah, we did.
Big
I actually did. I don't know if
No,
Will
I-
did,
I
but I
believe you both.
legitimately rode
I
the
believe-
elevator with Steph Curry.
I believe you
It
both.
happened.
But I'm going to
I'll
have to
send you a
go with
snap.
Joe Jacobs and the Purple Panthers. This is very important. I'm not so sure I'm buying the argument on the
Don't
Green
buy it.
Liners here that Steve Kerr doesn't want to see the old record broken. Of course he wants to see the record broken. They want their legacy as the best team ever, and then they want to win the championship. So, final question.
This is a big question.
This is a big question. With
Huge question.
All the marbles on the line. This is the simplest but most complicated question, and we started to talk about it at the end there. But Western Conference Finals, 7-game series. It's probably going to come down to the Spurs and Warriors. Who will win between those two teams? Go ahead.
I gotta say, this was a very, very tough decision. But we have two teams who are making history in the NBA right now. And I'm going with the dynasty. I'm going with the San Antonio Spurs. You have a core of a team that has been playing together for over a decade. They continually win year in and year out. Yes, last night, they faltered a little bit, but it was truly in the in the first quarter where they lost it. Say what you will, it might have been the LaMarcus Aldridge injury. I don't know. But give them 7 games, I am very confident that the Spurs will take over the Western Conference Finals.
Joe, why the Warriors?
Well, I think there's really only 2 words that can describe it, and the 2 words are Steph Curry. He's the greatest shooter of all time. When you have a shooter that from 60 feet away can pull up and just nail it in your face, Danny Green, then you're not going to not win a championship. I mean, they've got Klay Thompson. They've got Andre Iguodala coming off the bench. They've got Draymond Green down low, who's had one of the statistically best seasons of all time. He was the only person in history to post some like crazy rebounds, assists, points, blocks statistic. Couldn't even tell you because it was that good. Draymond Green. They have Festus Ezeli coming in. That team has too many talented players. And Steph Curry.
One more point for each of you.
I gotta
Steph
say
Curry.
that the San Antonio Spurs, you look at them, they have the best defender in the league.
Yeah, but
and
who
Kawhi
has the
Leonard,
best record
who is
in the
also
NBA? Who has
counterpoint,
won
one of
more
the best,
games
one of the
in
best
the regular
offensive
season?
players in the game.
Just tell me. Who won the last championship?
It
Who
was
has
the Golden
had
State
the most
Warriors,
success?
but you give them the focus this season.
Just tell me
the Golden
who's
State
won the more
Warriors are
games.
overshadowing the history that the Spurs
Just
are
tell
creating
me
right
who's
now.
won the
They're
more
only
games.
4 games. The Warriors are only 4 games ahead of the Spurs. This is a historic season by the Spurs, and it's being overshadowed by the Warriors.
Yeah, because the
7-game
Warriors
series,
are better.
Spurs.
You're right, the Warriors are better. No chance the Warriors lose 4 games out of
Spurs,
7.
Tim Duncan.
When
All
they've
right,
only
I'm gonna-
lost 12 games all year, whatever it is.
I'm
Spurs
gonna
are only
have-
4 games behind.
I'm going to have to wrap things up here. Gosh, this is so hard for me. The Warriors are possibly en route to the best season of all time.
Ever.
The Spurs are having their best season of all time and have beaten the Warriors a couple times this year. So who would win in a best-of-7 series?
Well, who's going to win this UC Dojo? That's the real question.
It's very close, and it's very hard for me. But I got to go with the Golden State Warriors and the Purple Panthers. Stephen Curry, he's going to be the MVP again. Draymond Green, he's been so good. We had great arguments here for the Green Liners. The Spurs are such a great team, but I think at the end of the day, the Warriors have been the better team this year, and they will be the better team in the playoffs.
And the Purple Panthers were just the better team today.
The Purple Panthers were slightly better today.
Yep.
They win 10-7. Great job to both teams. Great arguments. Hate to see you guys lose. You really played your hearts out.
Great work today.
But 10-7 final, and that is it for the 2016 season of Unsportsmanlike Conduct. When we come back, we will present championship medals. Don't go anywhere.
Maggie, did you put up the script yet?
No, that was your job.
Maggie, oh my God, I do it every
No,
week.
no,
I told
but-
you this is the one
but we
week I
talked
didn't
about
want
this.
responsibility.
Okay. I need to pick my wedgie.
Oh my God, look, they got us slushies.
Brian, freeze.
Oh my God, we're here.
He's queer.
Now get used to it. Come on, give me my mic. Mic me. Hi, I'm Christian Mudrick,
And I'm Maggie Morlap
and you're watching Real Reactions.
on the Emerson channel.
Welcome back for one final time to the UC Arena, where we are awarding our champions of the 2016 season. The Purple Panthers won in a nail-biter today against the Green Liners. Pablo Feldman, Joe Jacobs, Tim Minella. Boys, I'd like to present to you the championship medal. There you go. Here.
Are you not going to put it on?
I just want everybody to give it a little kiss, boys.
Okay. Yep. Kiss that medal. Pablo, any words?
I just want to say it's been a long season with my brothers here, and it's really been a life-defining season, a career-defining season, I would say. It's been a grind. It's been a pleasure. All these other teams
Yep.
with these amazing talents, and just to win alongside these boys. Oh,
It's
really making me tear up,
It's
Malcolm.
emotional.
It's okay.
Oh, God, that's so tough to see. Well,
Thank you, Malcolm.
Congratulations, guys.
And thank you for hosting. Doing
Yes,
a great job,
classy
Malcolm.
in victory.
Great job.
Congratulations to the Purple Panthers. The Green Liners had a great performance, and both the other teams as well. Thank you so much for tuning in this season and enjoying it with us. I also must emotionally remind our viewers that this is my last ever episode of Unsportsmanlike Conduct. So thank you to all the teammates I've had, the contestants I've judged, everyone working behind the scenes to make this show possible. It's been a fun ride, and I know this show will continue to grow in the future and remain the hotspot for the best sports debate at Emerson College. So for one very last time, Milkman out.